there will always be an issue that's exclusive to women, the one thing that women have and men don't. But because periods don't affect men and we live in a deeply patriarchal world, they are shrouded in shame and apology. But simply, if men had periods, bleeding would be an Olympic sport, and there would be free menstrual cups given out on the tube. The period is undoubtedly a feminist issue. The tampon tax only reinforces this. Given that Jaffa cakes, bingo games, and vodka jellies are deemed essential, tax-free items and menstrual products are not, women are being taxed for simply being women. It's symptomatic of society's view of women, whose needs can be readily overlooked. The tax speaks of injustice and misogyny in every sense, and only accentuates the presence of the patriarchy and our need for feminism today. Growing up in a family of strong, empowered women and going to a girls' school in which we are taught to discard any implications that gender would ever hold us back, I always viewed feminism as an important part of my life. My great-grandma will always be my ultimate feminist hero. She was born in the 1920s in Slovenia and refused to live her life within the boundaries set out for her. She had an arranged marriage, but in her 30s, at a time when women were not expected to accomplish much more than marrying and starting a family, she left behind her 2 young children and flew to the USA alone to start a master's in journalism. She did exceptionally well and made lifelong friends in Ohio before returning to India and becoming one of the country's top journalists, writing about women's issues. She continued to defy expectations, retiring as a university professor and didn't stop writing, learning and asking questions until she died last year at the age of 92. She taught me the importance of embracing the unknown and refusing to confine yourself to what others deem right or conventional. Feminism today is changing. In the past, women like my great-grandma were certainly feminists, but often they didn't know it, or at least they didn't call it that. Now though, the term is more used and embraced than ever before, and I think social media is responsible for that. It's incredible that as the term has grown more mainstream, it's become cooler, more accessible and more inclusive than ever before. From slogan t-shirts to Instagram bios, feminism is everywhere. And it's so amazing to see teenage girls particularly so empowered. I'm so excited to watch the next generation of teenage feminists make their mark on the world, because I truly believe they're going to achieve extraordinary things. Starting hashtag free periods. Free periods. A campaign to end period poverty in the UK showed me just how powerful passionate teenagers can be collectively. Last year, after reading an article that stated that children in the UK were routinely missing school, often for 1 week every month, because they couldn't afford to buy menstrual products, I started an online petition calling on the government to provide free menstrual products to those already receiving free school meals. These are the children from the lowest socioeconomic backgrounds who are struggling to afford even the most basic and expensive pads and tampons. So I was ordered to make their own makeshift alternatives using socks, toilet roll and newspaper. I used toilet roll when I was like out and about and didn't have anything on me. It is the worst. You can't go to school with that. Like, that will bother you for the rest of the day. You will leak through. It might even fall through your pants, and then you will never be able to show your face at school again. It's the worst. I don't believe that there was such abject poverty in the UK, and it was horrifying that our government hadn't acted to eradicate period poverty immediately. It's clear that the disengagement and subsequent lack of attainment that comes from girls miss large chunks of the curriculum, creating a marked gender divide in educational progression, leaving these girls trapped in the clutches of poverty and deprivation. Very quickly the campaign grew, and teenagers everywhere were calling for an end to period poverty, and for these girls to be given back their education and their dignity. Even today I am overwhelmed by the sense of solidarity and community that hashtag free periods has spawned and nurtured. Our protest outside Downing Street in December 2017 saw 2,000 young people dressed from top to toe in red and waving banners and blazing with period bands come together to call for an end to this injustice and more widely to celebrate the period. In March, the government allocated £1.5 million from the tampon tax fund to help charities end period poverty in the UK. a fantastic progression on the path to ending period poverty, but we are still calling for long-term statutory pledges to ensure that every child is going to school. If we want to stop periods from inhibiting educational progress, negatively impacting girls, and thus obstructing our fight for gender equality, there's still a lot of work to be done. Right before our eyes, the world is changing radically. Societal taboos are being smashed. We tolerate more, dictate less, and embrace change like never before. Finally, we're shouting about the silence, and then surprisingly, it's young people who are driving the force for change. As the hashtag Free Periods protest demonstrated perfectly, young people are completely unrivaled in their determination, passion, and willingness to bleed for their cause. Before we begin to dismantle the archaic and oppressive taboo around periods, we need to ensure that every child in this country is getting the education they need and deserve. If a period is holding them back, we have a serious problem on our hands, and the government needs to step in. So, Theresa May, this is a bit outdated. If you're reading this, watch out for the rise of the bleeding teenager. We're armed with jumbo tampons and we're ready for the fight. Theresa May would have had some hope. Boris Johnson, I don't care. I don't think that he gives a shit though. It's great that the UK is already doing something to help. I think feminine products should not be taxed at all because they're medical products, like essential medical products. But a luxury tax? Seriously? It's a luxury. What else are we supposed to do? Like literally, if we don't have it, girls start missing school. That's how essential it is. Great essay. I think it's very important because the UK is not the only country that has a luxury tax on feminine products. And in the US there's this as well. I'm actually not sure about the Netherlands. I don't know, they are kind of expensive, I understand that some people just can't afford them. Yeah, using socks, bags, toilet paper, newspaper. That is the worst. You can't live like that. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next one.